welcome back to my channel, Being Louisa. Just gonna quickly say before this video starts, I am sorry about this lighting, okay? It's the sun and the clouds. They don't know what's going on. It's been chucking it down and it was super grey, now it's super light, and so my camera's just confused. There we go, we worked it out. But anyway, so let's continue.
It brings it
This video is going to be how my OSCEs went. I had my OSCE about a while ago, like last month. I believe it was on the 20th of July, and you guys, it was emotional, okay? This is why it's taken me so long to film this video, because it was just so emotional. So I went to the OSCE practice the day prior. I missed the beginning part because I had to get a blood test, which I vlogged that day. Actually, I vlogged the whole day, so you guys know it. Go click here to see the practice. So I had that day, right? Cool. We then go to the OSCEs the next day. I'm being well cheeky, but I left when I wanted to leave, which is a rarity for me. I never leave when I want to leave. So I left like today. I want to leave in 2 hours. I'm not going to leave in 2 hours because I still got to edit a video, upload it because the Wi-Fi is way better here, and then I've still got to finish packing, which won't take long, but still I won't leave in 2 hours. But anyway, and so I left when I wanted to leave. I was on the right track, got the 493, which is the faster bus to Wimbledon. So I got there and I'm like, oh, I've got 6 minutes until my bus. No, sorry, I had 8 minutes to my bus. Oh, I'm gonna be cheeky. I'm gonna get a coffee because I had my Keep Cup with me. I looked, it wasn't that busy, but I quickly ran to Pret because they have great vegan cookies at Pret. They didn't have it at that one, so I went back and then it was so long to Starbucks line. Got a coffee from Starbucks, and if anyone asks why I didn't get a coffee from Pret, last time I had an iced coffee from Pret, it was gross, okay? It was so gross. But anyway, so I got my free, oh yeah, and I had a free drink at Starbucks. That's also another reason why I went. Come on, free drink. I'll wait in a line for a free drink. And as the guy made my iced soy milk caramel macchiato, very weirdly by the way, but once he made that, I looked to the side and do I not see my bus going past? And I'm like, great. So I had to wait like 10 minutes for that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be late because I was just on time. But luckily I wasn't. Bus came, everything was fine. I got to uni with like 5 minutes to spare, which guys, I wasn't late. But yeah, so I got to uni with 5 minutes to spare because this time was at Kingston. I was like, yeah, I'm rocking up, like everyone's there, all stressing out in their uniforms. I'm rocking up, putting my uniform on in the hallway, like, so I was cool. Everything was going great. So my game plan was do the stuff I know I'm gonna pass because I do it every single day first, then do the rest, right? The things that I'm not as confident in. So there was 4 stations. There was urinalysis, then there was vital signs and blood pressure. So vital signs is like pulse, temperature, respiratory rates. And number 3 was breastfeeding, which is just a pass or fail, and then there was CPR. So I was like, cool. I did urine analysis first. Someone came out and was like, make sure you get everything. And I was like, cool. Well, she did it to her friend, yeah, but I was like listening because I'm sitting there without music on, so, you know. And I said everything and I was like, oh, I don't know. And I kept on looking back at it and I'm like, it's barely there, okay? But it is there, so I'm gonna make a note of it, but it's not even a trace, but it's almost a trace. I make a note of it and mention it to my mentor because it was sort of like role play. But yeah, so that was fine. I passed that and I was like, great. I tried small talk, so embarrassing, so awkward, not doing that ever again. And then I went and lined up for the vital signs one. So I'm sitting there, it's been over an hour, whatever. I'm like checking my pulse because I'm like, I'm not nervous. I couldn't feel my pulse. I was like, where's my pulse? I got the girl next to me to check it. She could feel it and I was like, what the heck? So I felt my other side and I'm like, yeah, I got a pulse here. Come to realise that because at work, like my part-time job in the hotel, I work in the kitchens, I burn myself so often, especially these fingers. Don't realise that I can't feel anything because obviously you feel the thumb. I didn't realise, right? But it is like a bit less sensitive basically, so it's a bit less sensitive, these fingers. Note to self, don't use that hand when you go in there. Have this lady that I don't know, but she's a CPF, another hospital. So I did everything. I checked her name and her date of birth, even though the women in the room had said to me, this is blah blah blah, and I was like, oh hi, blah 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 blah, sorry, can I just quickly double check your identity, blah blah. So I did it. I checked the identity, I wrote the date and time on the Muse chart, I did the temperature, I explained everything, put it in, I positioned it and I let her put the temperature right under because it's uncomfortable, blah blah. I explained it all right. I made sure she was comfortable the whole time. I did her pulse with this hand and I couldn't feel it properly and I was like, did I get 30? I was so confused. So what I did was I did that and I was like, I'm so sorry, I got it wrong. Let me do it again. Did it again, got it fine. And they have this like little pulse reader thing which always adds on 10 anyway, and so it was exactly 10 different. So I got it right. And then I did the blood pressure. You guys, this is where it gets complicated, and I'm sorry I saw, but this is where it gets real, okay? So in community, and like every community team and anyone in the hospital who has to do the blood pressure manually does it this way, right? They just put the cuff on, pump it up to like 150, put the stethoscope on the brachial artery and releases the cuff and listens, right? That's how they do it, but that's not good standard practice. I don't know if it matters. Well, this would have made it matter. So the way I did it was I put on the cuff first, right? I made sure it was 2 centimeters above. I did it way more than 2 centimeters above, right? The brachial artery. Just make sure with the thing that says artery on it, it was like in line with the artery. I felt the pulse. I then pumped up until I couldn't feel the pulse anymore. I let it go. I gave her arm some time to relax. And then I found the pulse again, did it up to that point, and I did exactly 30 above, which is what you're supposed to do. I then let it go. I heard her blood pressure. I said it. I documented everything. This woman that was marking me, okay, was like, whew. Sorry, I'm being a bit dramatic, okay? But like, girl, I was stressed that day because it was an exam. Imagine someone saying to you, all right, so I don't understand how you got the pulse wrong. So I explained it to her because fair enough, it was very wrong the first time I said it. She was like, okay, well, I passed you on those, on the temperature, pulse, and respiratory rate. She's like, I passed you on those. I was like, yay. I was so shocked because I thought I was going to fail that because I got it so wrong. But I failed you on blood pressures. And I looked at her like, the fuck? I was like, oh. Because there's just actors in the room and it's an exam, I don't want to like make a fuss. I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, because you put the cuff on first without feeling her pulse, and like, you know how in the cuff it says artery? I was like, yeah. She's like, so you don't know the artery? So I was like, but I lined it up with the artery. She's like, but you didn't palpate the pulse first. So in her eyes, I should have palpated the pulse first and then put it on. And I was like, okay. I walked out and I was just very confused. I went out. I then called my mom, who was in Canada at the time. So it was like 11 a.m. for us. It was like 6 a.m. for her, right? I woke her up and I was like, I'm so sorry, mom, but I'm so angry right now. And I started crying. I was so frustrated. I was like, I don't understand how I failed it. Like, I just don't understand. Like, it doesn't say you have to do it exactly this way. You just have to do those steps. Yeah, but you didn't say you have to palpate the pulse first and you have to do this. And it doesn't make sense because on the sheet, it says you can palpate the radial, which is here, or the brachial pulse, right, which is here actually. If you feel it on the outside here, the radial, then obviously the brachial is there. That's normal anatomy of the arm. That's just how it is. I was upset. I was like, I just don't understand her logic. My mom's like, just talk to the person in charge of it. But mom, like, so I talked out, I cried for a bit, got myself together. Then she's like, no, go do it. And I was like, yes ma'am. So I then spoke to some people, someone else failed it as well. It was the exact same lady doing the exact same thing I did. And I was like, I'm gonna talk to the person in charge. She's like, cool, let me know what you do. So I was really upset, by the way. So I went and had lunch. Like, I just couldn't do the rest of the day. I then went into CPR kind of in that nonchalant mood, like, I don't care anymore. And I did CPR, which is funny because that's the thing I was like really nervous about. But she gave me all B's. Just don't fall over and stop breathing in front of me because, girl, that was an exam. It was a doll. I can feel when I'm pressing down properly, okay? I don't know how I'll be on a human being, so please. But yeah, that gave me a little bit of pep in my step. So I went and did breastfeeding and she's like, oh wow, that's amazing, that's excellent, well done. And I was like, oh, thank you. So that all cheered me up. I was like, I'm still not okay with this. So I went and found the person in charge and I said like to her, could you explain to me why I failed? This is what I've been told. Even she looks at me a bit like, I guess because it's not gold standard. I was like, I understand that it's not gold standard, fair enough. I was just like, but could you explain the reasoning? Because I felt the radial pulse anyway, so how would I know that the brachial pulse is there? How would I know the artery is there if I felt down here anyway? Like, it's just me assuming. Really, she's like, it's going to be moderated, so just hold on to that. And I was like, cool. Then we had a maths test. I failed the maths test so hard and I was like, that's okay. We got our results back the other day. I actually got more than the maths test than I thought I did. But yeah, so I left that day totally upset, totally dejected, and I was like, I don't understand. Like, failing the maths test, I didn't care. It was failing that blood pressure because the reason behind it was just, I didn't understand it at all. So it really pissed me off. Like, it didn't make sense in my eyes because either way, I'm assuming that the artery is here. Like, if I'd felt the brachial pulse first and then did it, cool. But because I felt the radial pulse, even if I felt the radial pulse before I put on the cuff, I'm still assuming that the artery is here. I'm still assuming that there's no one at me. So I don't know, I was just really upset. And then I think last week we got our results back and I actually passed. They amended it in moderation and the course lead was like, it's been moderated from fail to pass. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love you so much, thank you. I didn't say I love you, I was like, thank you so much. But like in my head I was like, I love you, girl. I was at work when this happened, so I was like jumping up and down. The other girl in the kitchen was looking at me like, are you okay? I'm like, I passed my exam, I passed my exam. I was so happy because if you fail one section you get capped and that's what I didn't like. I was like, I don't like getting capped for something that I don't understand why I failed. I think the math test is separate, but even if it is together, if I get capped because of the math test, I'm okay with that. I'll be upset, but that's my own fault for not studying hard enough. But for the blood pressures, I would have been so angry. So when I saw it got changed from a fail to a pass, I was so happy. And then when I saw everything, I was like, if that hadn't have been changed, oh my gosh, because my marks for everything else, you guys, it's the highest I've gotten out of all my assignments and my exams. Like, I'm telling you, it was so high. So I would have been so upset, but everything worked out for the best because I mentioned it to module lead. So she kind of flagged it up, I guess, at moderation, whatever happened, but it got moderated and all is good in Louisa land. But yeah, so that's how my OSCE went, and that's very long, but I hope you guys stick around for the whole video. I love it when YouTubers do this. If you do make it to the end of the video, put the pregnancy belly and the doctor emojis, put them both side by side. I don't know how else to describe a midwife. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and in the meantime, keep on being you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below with any questions or suggestions, and don't forget to subscribe to get weekly updates. Bye y'all!